patients have you been able to cure so far?
I would say 1.
How many people have I cured? Well, there are no real cures right now in psychiatry.
The idea of you asked me about the issue about how many people I've cured. I don't know that any of us are ever completely cured of anything.
I have not been able to cure many patients.
I have cured none of my patients.
What's going on, guys? As you can see in that video, psychiatrists spend 8 years in school to not even have a cure for mental illness. Hey, it is what it is. But today, I will confidently say I have a cure. So, a little bit of history about me. My mom is schizophrenic. So, I am susceptible to that type of thing. So I have actually made an effort to avoid it and keep it away from me and harness my mental talent and turn it into great strength. And so this is the channel where I preach mental strength, because if there's anybody who can tell you how to strengthen your mind, it's definitely going to be me, because it's what I spend most of my time doing. And so I have the cure, I can say confidently, to mental illness. And it's a package cure. And it isn't a Band-Aid cure. You do it and you're done. It's a lifestyle cure. Just like if you caught cancer and cured it and you never want to catch cancer again, that change you made becomes a lifestyle habit. And so I have a 5 habit cure for mental fortitude, because I'm not just about mental wellness, I'm all about mental strength. And so when I was younger, when I was 16 years old, I used to rap, and I ran out of things to rap about, and so I began to write poetry, and I ran out of things to write about, so I fell into meditation. And typically when I would write poetry, I would sit on my dad's couch and I would gaze at the sky, because whatever issue was bothering me, I write it down, put it in the pen. So instead I fell into meditation and I would gaze in the sky. And what ended up happening was things would come up, like issues with people at school or people in my life would come up, and it's as if I was reliving it. And so, I would experience the feeling of how I felt, of how the person or the situation made me feel. And I caught myself, saying and feeling, man, I hate when this happens. Man, I hate when that happens. Man, I hate when that happens. And one day, something just asked me, I asked myself whatever it was, something just said, well, why do you hate that thing? And I really analyzed the situation, and I became aware, okay, you know what, let me not use that word hate. And I started resolving issues because I became a little bit more self-aware of myself. And I became aware of how I was contributing to the issues. But some people were just bothering me unprovoked. So I got to the point to where I would say and I would think, man, I really dislike this situation. I dislike this person. I dislike when that happens. And I dislike how this made me feel. And so being in this cycle of disliking, I questioned myself, why? Why did I dislike when this person upset me? Or why did I? And the root of it was, I felt like people didn't give me grace. I felt like people weren't patient with me. People weren't understanding. People assumed. And so at the root of the problem, I started seeing that ultimately the common denominator was, I just wish people showed me more love. And so in that moment, I realized, well, you know what? How about I become more loving? Because maybe they feel the same way. And so when an issue would happen, I'd experience it. Man, I dislike when this happens. I hate that you shame me. I'll give you an example. I had a girl in class, and she would just make fun of my clothes because I didn't have clothes. I just wore plain t-shirts and it was okay. So this girl would keep making fun of me, banging on me, oh, your clothes suck, you never wear name brand, blah, blah. And I would get back and forth arguing with her, and I just feel like, damn, why is she always picking on me? Obviously she had a crush on me, whatever. But instead of arguing with her and reliving it while I was meditating, I would say, how about you just become more loving? So I would see myself in that same moment where she's picking on me, and I would just imagine me as the loving version of myself. That's it. And thus was the creation of love meditation. This is where you sit down silently. You allow yourself to be still in silence, gaze at the sky, or just you're sitting in contemplation. Issues are going to come up. When an issue comes up and you experience it and you have that feeling, that dislike or that hate toward it, reimagine yourself as a loving person. Now, this is not easy. You might even have to pray to God to become a more loving person. But if you focus on love, every time the test or the trial happens and you fail, you'll fail just a little bit closer to the goal. And over time, you'll become more and more loving. And as the weeks go on and continue, you write down, I need to be more forgiving in this instance. I need to be more generous in this instance. I need to be more kind in this instance. I need to be more understanding in this instance. You can develop yourself and build yourself more and become more loving. And this is one of the major 5 ways in which you can not only cure mental illness, but you can forgive. Why? Because forgiveness is not just something that serves you because, I don't know why people say this type of thing. Oh, forgiveness is for you, it's not for them. It's true, it's just that you don't know what you're talking about. Forgiveness relieves you of the stress that you're carrying in the body, the stress that can become a disorder and a disease. That's why forgiveness is healing. It's not just because it's for you. No, it's for you because it makes you healthier. Like, it's not good for you to walk around with that tension and that anger and that stress towards somebody over a situation that is no longer present. Instead, become more loving. Now, what ended up happening with love meditation is I became very loving, but I became sometimes a little delusional because certain resolutions, love can't fix everything. It's solved, I can say honestly, 70% of my issues. The other 40% I would have to solve with honesty, truth, knowledge, morality, which is a lifetime journey and a lifetime process. But love meditation worked and helped me get rid of a lot of stress and a lot of issues as well. A lot of things came up, and eventually I just found myself being so bright and so light. Every day I was excited and I had a lot of energy. I don't do love meditation now, obviously, a lot. I do it here and there, but this is what got me over the bridge to avoid, like, mental disorders. You know what I mean? And ultimately, it's just the truth. Like, if you are holding on to like stress, anger, tension, this stress in your body can affect your mind and cause mental illness. So love meditation is one of the resolutions. Number 2, I would say just plain simple meditation. Focusing on deep breathing. So this is meditation where you're focusing on your breath. Why? Deep breaths oxygenate the body. When you are stressed and anger and in these negative emotions, you're going to breathe shallow. What does that do? It causes you to retain carbon in the body, which produces more acid in your body. So that's one acid being produced, and then the anger and the negative emotions is producing other acids in the body as well. So instead of allowing your shallow breathing to create a toxic environment, you do 15, 20, 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, however much you can do, 3, 4, 5 times a week of deep breathing. You're gonna inhale. If you're just starting, you inhale 5 seconds, hold 5 seconds, exhale 5 seconds. What this does is you're pulling in oxygen, you're holding it, you oxygenate the body, you're breathing out carbon. It's almost as if you're inhaling positive energy, trapping it, exhaling negative energy. This is a great way to oxygenate the body, to release stress, to balance yourself, balance your mood, develop patience, and get closer to the virtues that are ideal for tolerating negative situations, so that way you don't absorb all the negative emotions that are coming from your environment and others around you who are not centered. All right? Love meditation, deep breathing meditation. When you're doing your deep breathing meditation, you can be in a lotus position, you can be sitting in a chair. There's many styles, but you got to take time every day. Turn the TV off, turn the sports off, put the phone down. Take time, sit in silence, do 15, 20, 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours. Deep breathing. Do it daily or at least 3-4 times a week. All right, the third resolution to not only cure, but prevent mental illness is, I would say, therapy. What is therapy? Friendship. When you have friends, it's good to have people who are wiser than you, who can give you different perspectives and expand your mind. They can really humble you and cause you to consider things from the other perspective. We all get carried away sometimes. So having friends that you can talk to, exchange perspectives, build with. Life is a journey. People make mistakes. Things happen. So you have to spend time learning people, learning life, learning situations, analyzing your mistake. If you're just moving, life is going to happen to you, and you're never going to be able to create the life you want. But if you take time to sit in retrospection, to think about your life, to consult with your friends, to be able to learn yourself, to learn people, to learn life, then you can get closer to becoming so powerful you can create the life that you want. And so therapy, which is friendship, is another layer of not only curing, but preventing mental illness. All right. Number 4. So the fourth way to prevent mental illness is to fortify the mind, to strengthen the mind. I'm not just about mental wellness, I'm about mental strength. So brain games, you're gonna get into your Minesweeper, which the channel is littered with. You're gonna get into your chess, you're gonna get into your Sudoku, you're gonna get into puzzles, whatever you like to do, but you have to exercise the mind. The mind is such a great tool that if you don't use it, you will lose it. Meaning you can lose your mind and it can turn against you because you're not using it. When you're watching TV, you're spending too much time on social media, you're wasting your potential. Spend time developing your mind. Spend time developing your creativity, your critical thinking, your logic, your memory, your mental speed, your mental agility. All these, just like the body, the mind has all these abilities. And if you're not using them, then the mind slowly deteriorates and erodes, and it invites mental illness to take it over. Alzheimer's, dementia, it's already been proven scientifically. I talked about it in my earlier videos, that if you are not strengthening the mind actively with brain activities, then it will deteriorate and eventually turn against you, whether it happens now or later. It starts happening slowly when you're getting in your middle age and you just can't remember stuff. So you have to work on your memory, critical thinking, logic. Certain things, certain talents you're born with, and certain things you're gonna be able to maintain because whatever job you work requires a certain mental talent. But there are other mental things, activities, strengths that you have to do, that you have to keep up with in order to keep your mind healthy. So therefore, brain games and brain activities to strengthen the mind. Treat the mind like a muscle. Treat critical thinking, memory, logic, speed, creativity, treat it all like a muscle. These are, and calculation as well. These are all muscles that you should be exercising at least 3-4 times a week, if not daily. And check out my earlier videos. I have activities, the list of them that you can do. All right, last thing that you need to do to not only cure, but prevent mental illness is physical exercise. Physical exercise has already been shown to produce endorphins in the body, positive chemicals, which have a positive effect on you, higher self-esteem, you're healthier, you're more resilient, etc. If you are living in waste with so much stress in the body and you're laying around being lazy, then you're creating self-defeating codes within yourself. This is something I notice with people who are very obese, and I don't mean like 10, 20 pounds. I mean, I have friends that are 300, 400, 500 pounds, and they kind of have like a self-defeating kind of perspective, like, oh, I'm not gonna do this because it wouldn't work out anyway. Like, they kind of have this perspective that they shouldn't even try. And this is only because you allow yourself to be overweight. Now, there are certain health conditions and certain genetics which can prevent you from getting wellness quicker than somebody like me who's a natural endomorph, right? Like, I'm really not a big guy. I'm really naturally skinny guy. However, you can still take time to love yourself and develop your health. And when you do this, you create positive chemicals in your body, you get in shape, you feel better, and this positive energy within yourself and this fitness, it raises your self-esteem, and it allows you to be more mentally stable and mentally healthier. I'm not saying that this is a one size fits all, but overall, if you exercise, it is good for your mental health. So those are the 5 ways that you can cure mental illness. Not just prevent it, but damn right cure it. And these are not band-aid fixes. This is not like, okay, this guy is crazy, he's gonna do these 5 things, should be done. No, this is a lifestyle change. Just like if you had cancer and you fasted and you became a vegan and you cured the cancer, you're not gonna go back to eating fried food. You have to make a permanent lifestyle change. So this is a permanent lifestyle change to meditate, to become more loving, to become more attentive to your friendships, to do brain exercises as well as physical exercise. It's a whole lifestyle change. And if you do these enough, you will strengthen your mind, and your mind can be resilient to mental illness. It doesn't mean that it'll be impossible for you to get mentally sick, but it'll be very difficult. Just like if somebody lifts weights, it doesn't mean they can't have osteoporosis, but it's very less likely because lifting weights, that activity strengthens the bones. So when you spend time strengthening the mind, it's resilient toward mental illness. So that's all for tonight. Go pill out. You guys have a good night. Peace.